Thunder cracked over the coastal estate. Waves crashed against black rocks below, sending salt spray against towering glass walls. Sophia Bennett stood in the marble foyer, wearing a simple cream dress that hung loose on her thin frame. 22 years old and already carrying the weight of impossible debt. Her chestnut hair fell in damp waves past her shoulders. She clutched a leather portfolio against her chest like armor. Across the vast living room, backlit by floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the angry ocean, stood Marcus Valen. 40 years old, dressed in a charcoal sweater pushed to his elbows and dark trousers. Silver streaked his black hair at the temples. His emerald eyes studied her like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. 3 weeks. That's how long since her mother's medical bills had consumed everything. 3 weeks since the loan shark started circling. You understand the terms? His voice was gravel and smoke. Sophia's throat tightened. 6 months. A legal marriage. Public appearances. In exchange, you pay my mother's treatment. All of it. And after 6 months? Clean divorce. We walk away. Marcus moved closer, his bare feet silent on cold marble. The fireplace cast dancing shadows across his scarred jaw, a thick line running from his ear to his chin. Why would a tech billionaire need a fake wife? Her voice trembled despite her attempt at strength. Because the board thinks I'm unstable. Because my late wife's family is contesting her will. Because a settled man looks less dangerous. He stopped 3 feet away, close enough that she could smell cedar and rain. Why would a gallery assistant agree to marry a stranger? Because my mother has 6 months to live without the surgery. Because love is a luxury I can't afford. Because you're offering salvation. Lightning illuminated the room. In that flash, she saw something raw in his expression. Pain that mirrored her own. I won't pretend to love you, he said. I'm not asking you to. I won't lie about what this is. Neither will I. He extended his hand. She noticed his knuckles were scarred, like he'd spent years fighting invisible battles. Their fingers touched. The contact sent electricity through her skin. Tomorrow morning. City Hall. My lawyer will have the papers ready. Sophia nodded, unable to speak. Marcus turned toward the windows, his broad shoulders tense beneath the sweater. There's a guest room upstairs. Second door on the left. The housekeeper left clothes in your size. How did you know my size? He glanced back, something unreadable in his eyes. I'm thorough, Sophia. You'll learn that about me. She climbed the spiral staircase, legs shaking. The guest room was pristine. White silk bedding. Abstract art on charcoal walls. Through the window, she could see the ocean churning below like her thoughts. On the bed lay a garment bag. She unzipped it slowly. Inside hung a dove gray suit. Elegant. Expensive. Perfect. Beneath it, a handwritten note in sharp, precise script. Wear this tomorrow. We face this together. Her chest constricted. This was just business. Just a contract. So why did those 4 words feel like a promise? She changed into the soft pajamas left in the dresser and crawled under the covers. But sleep wouldn't come. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his scarred jaw. His wounded eyes. The way he'd looked at her like she was the first real thing he'd seen in years. Around midnight, she heard footsteps in the hallway. They paused outside her door. Through the crack beneath, she watched his shadow stand there for a long moment before moving away. Morning arrived wrapped in fog. Sophia dressed in the gray suit, her hands trembling as she buttoned the silk blouse underneath. The fabric felt like water against her skin. She twisted her hair into a low knot and stared at her reflection. She looked like someone else. Someone strong. Downstairs, Marcus waited by the door in a black suit and charcoal tie. He looked devastating. Controlled. Untouchable. Ready? He asked. No. His lips quirked. Almost a smile. Honest. I appreciate that. The drive to City Hall was silent except for rain drumming on the roof of his black sedan. His driver navigated through gray streets while Sophia watched the city blur past. Second thoughts. Marcus asked quietly. Every second. We can still stop this. She turned to face him. Can we? Can you really save my mother another way? His jaw clenched. No. Then we keep going. The ceremony was cold, efficient. A gray-haired clerk in a cardigan recited words that meant everything and nothing. Marcus slid a platinum band onto her finger. It fit perfectly. When the clerk said, "You may kiss the bride," Marcus hesitated. Their eyes met. In that suspended moment, she saw past the billionaire facade, saw loneliness that matched her own. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His lips brushed hers. Soft, careful. The world tilted. When they pulled apart, something had shifted. Something neither of them could name. Outside, reporters swarmed like locusts. "Mr. Valen, is it true you're married? Who is she? How long have you been together?" Marcus's arm wrapped around her waist, solid and protective. "My wife, and I request privacy during this happy time." His wife. The words sent heat through her veins. They escaped to the car, breathless. As the driver pulled away, Marcus's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and his entire body went rigid. "What's wrong?" Sophia whispered. He answered, his voice like ice. "I told you never to contact me." A woman's voice crackled through, sharp and venomous. Sophia couldn't make out the words, but she watched color drain from Marcus's face. "That's impossible. You're dead." The voice laughed. Cold. Cruel. Marcus ended the call and stared at his phone like it was a weapon. "Who is that?" Sophia's heart hammered. He turned to her, and she saw something she hadn't seen before. Fear. "My wife," he said hoarsely. "My first wife. The one who died 3 years ago." The car filled with suffocating silence. "What do you mean?" Sophia's voice cracked. Marcus's hands shook as he loosened his tie. "Elena. She was pronounced dead after a car accident in Barcelona. I identified the body. I buried her. And that was her voice. Very much alive." The world spun. Sophia pressed her hand against the cool window, trying to steady herself. "So our marriage may not be legal," he finished, his voice hollow. "If she's alive, if the death certificate was faked, then I'm still married to her." Which means what we just did is bigamy. Rain hammered harder against the windows. The driver's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, but he said nothing. Sophia pulled off the platinum ring, watching it catch the gray light. "You lied to me. I didn't know. Didn't you?" She turned on him, fury replacing shock. "A thorough man like you? You didn't check? Didn't verify?" "I saw her body, Sophia. I watched them lower her casket into the ground. Then who did I just marry?" His jaw worked. "A ghost. A fool. I don't know anymore." The car stopped outside the coastal estate. Sophia reached for the door handle. "Where are you going?" Marcus's voice was raw. "Away from you. Away from this nightmare." His hand caught her wrist. Not hard, but desperate. "Please. Let me fix this." "How? By making me an accomplice to fraud? By destroying what's left of my life? Your mother still needs that surgery." The words hit like a physical blow. Sophia froze, hand on the door. "That's cruel," she whispered. "It's the truth." She turned back, tears burning her eyes. "So what now? We pretend? We lie to everyone while you figure out if your dead wife is actually alive. I need time to investigate, to understand what's happening. And me? What am I supposed to do?" Marcus's grip on her wrist softened, his thumb tracing her pulse point. The gesture was too intimate. Too real. "Stay," he said quietly. "Please. Just a few days. Let me unravel this." "Why should I trust you?" "Because I'm the only one who can save your mother. And you're the only person I've been honest with in years." His emerald eyes held hers. Even if the honesty came too late. Thunder rolled across the sky. The ocean raged below. Sophia pulled her hand free and stepped out into the rain. But she didn't run. She walked toward the estate's entrance, her gray suit darkening with water. Behind her, she heard Marcus follow. Inside the foyer, dripping and shaking, she finally spoke. 3 days. You have 3 days to figure this out. Then I'm gone, consequences or not." "Thank you." "Don't thank me. Just tell me one thing." She faced him fully. "Did you feel anything during that kiss? Or was that performance too?" Marcus's expression cracked. For the first time, She saw the man beneath the armor. "I felt everything," he whispered. "That's the problem." Before she could respond, his phone rang again. This time, when he answered, his face went from pale to ashen. "What is it?" Sophia demanded. Marcus lowered the phone slowly, his hand trembling. "Elena. She's here." At the gate. The words hung between them like a death sentence. Through the window, Sophia watched a figure emerge from a black car. A woman in a crimson coat, her dark hair whipping in the wind. Even from a distance, she radiated menace. The woman who was supposed to be dead smiled up at the estate. And Sophia realized the nightmare had only just begun. The doorbell echoed through the estate like a funeral toll. Sophia stood frozen in her damp gray suit, watching Marcus's face transform. Every muscle tightened. His emerald eyes turned to stone. "Don't answer it," she whispered. "She knows we're here. So let her wait." Marcus looked at her then, really looked at her, and something desperate flickered across his features. "If I don't face this now, it will only get worse." He moved toward the door. Sophia grabbed his arm. The muscles beneath his sweater were coiled tight. "Who is she really? Not just your dead wife. Who is she?" His throat worked. "A mistake. A manipulation. A woman who destroyed me once and apparently isn't finished." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one I have." He pulled free and opened the door. Elena Valen stood on the threshold like a crimson flame against the gray storm. Her black hair was sleek, cut sharp at her jaw. She wore a tailored red coat over a black dress, her lips painted the color of blood. At her throat, a diamond necklace caught the light like shattered ice. She was beautiful the way a blade is beautiful. "Hello, darling." Her voice was honey-laced with arsenic. Her dark eyes slid past Marcus to land on Sophia. "And who is this?" "The new Mrs. Valen." Sophia's spine straightened. "I'm Sophia Bennett." "Bennett." Elena smiled slowly. "Not Valen yet, then." "Smart girl. Keep your name. You'll need it when this all falls apart." Marcus stepped between them, his body a wall. "Get out, Elena." "But I just arrived. And we have so much to discuss." She swept past him into the foyer, her heels clicking on marble. She trailed fingers along the console table like she owned it. "I see you redecorated." "Shame. I preferred the old style." "You're supposed to be dead." Clearly, reports of my demise were greatly exaggerated. Elena turned, her coat swirling. "Though I'm touched you mourn me, Marcus." "The funeral was lovely, I'm told. Such beautiful flowers." Sophia's stomach churned. "You faked your death. Smart and beautiful. Where did you find her, Marcus?" Elena circled them slowly, a predator assessing prey. "Let me guess. Some charity event? A gallery opening? Or did you buy her like you buy everything else?" "Careful," Marcus said softly. The threat in his voice was unmistakable. "Or what? You'll call security? The police?" Elena laughed. "Go ahead. I'm sure they'd love to hear about your bigamy charge. Billionaire tech mogul marries innocent girl while still legally wed to his first wife. The press will feast on it." Sophia's hands clenched. "What do you want?" "Direct." "I like that." Elena perched on the arm of a leather chair, crossing her legs. "I want what's mine. The settlement Marcus owes me. $50 million. "You were declared dead," Marcus said through gritted teeth. "The estate was settled. And now I'm resurrected. Which means the settlement is void. Which means you owe me." Her eyes glittered. "Unless you'd prefer I go public with this mess?" "I don't have 50 million liquid." "Then liquidate. Sell stocks. Mortgage this mausoleum. I don't care how you do it." Elena stood, smoothing her coat. "You have 1 week. Or the whole world learns about your illegal marriage to sweet Sophia here." She moved toward the door, then paused. "Oh, and Marcus? I know about the will contest. Elena's family still wants their piece. With me alive, they have no claim. Cooperate, and I'll make them disappear. Refuse, and I'll help them bury you." The door closed behind her with a soft click. Silence swallowed the room. Sophia's legs gave out. She sank onto the bottom stair, her vision blurring. "This can't be happening." Marcus stood motionless, staring at the door. "I need to make calls." Verify her identity. Check the death certificate. It's her, isn't it? You know it's her. His shoulders sagged. Yes. So what we did this morning is fraud. Technically, yes. Sophia laughed bitterly. Technically. My mother is dying, I just committed bigamy, and you say technically. She looked up at him, fury burning through shock. You said you were thorough. You said you checked everything. I did. 3 years ago, every document was legitimate. The body was identified by dental records. The autopsy was signed by 3 separate doctors. Then how? I don't know. He finally moved, running his hands through his hair until it stood in dark spikes. But I'm going to find out. Sophia stood on shaking legs. I need air. It's pouring rain. I don't care. She walked toward the back terrace, Marcus following. Outside, the storm had softened to a steady downpour. The ocean stretched gray and endless below. She stepped to the railing, letting rain soak through her suit jacket, welcoming the cold. Sophia. Don't. Her voice cracked. Don't say anything kind. Don't pretend you're sorry. Just leave me alone. He moved beside her anyway, his presence solid against the wind. Rain plastered his dark hair to his skull, traced the scar on his jaw. How did you get that? She gestured to his face, desperate to think about anything except the disaster unfolding. Marcus touched the scar unconsciously. Elena. Sophia's breath caught. She did that to you? With a wine bottle. During our last fight before the accident. His laugh was hollow. I should have seen the signs. The manipulation. The rage. But I was younger. Stupider. I thought love could fix anything. What happened to her? I mean, what you thought happened. She drove off a cliff in Barcelona. Single car accident. I flew out, identified what was left. His voice went distant. I watched them cremate the body. Scattered the ashes in the Mediterranean like she'd wanted. Whose ashes were they? I have no idea. They stood in the rain, 2 broken people pretending to be whole. Finally, Sophia spoke. My father left when I was 8. Said he couldn't handle my mother's illness. Said we were too much weight to carry. She gripped the railing until her knuckles whitened. I've spent 14 years carrying that weight alone. And when you offered to lift it, even temporarily, I thought maybe the universe was finally giving me something. I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you just sorry you got caught? Marcus turned to face her fully. Water streamed down his face. I'm sorry I gave you hope when I should have given you honesty. The confession hung between them. Sophia's phone buzzed. She pulled it from her pocket with shaking hands. A text from the hospital. Your mother's procedure is scheduled for next week. Payment received. She's going to live. The words blurred. Sophia's knees buckled. Marcus caught her, his arms solid around her waist. What's wrong? She showed him the screen, unable to speak. He read it and his expression softened. The payment went through this morning. Before Elena showed up. Whatever happens now, your mother's treatment is secured. Why? Sophia looked up at him, rain and tears mixing on her face. If our marriage isn't legal, if this whole thing is falling apart, why honor the agreement? Because your mother's life isn't contingent on my mistakes. His thumb brushed water from her cheek, the gesture unbearably gentle. Whatever else I've done, I won't take that from you. Something broke inside her. She pressed her forehead against his chest, feeling his heart hammer beneath the wet sweater. I don't understand you, she whispered. I don't understand myself anymore. They stood there, wrapped in rain and ruins, until Marcus's phone shattered the moment. He answered, his voice sharp. What? His entire body went rigid. When? Pause. How bad? Pause. I'm on my way. He ended the call and stepped back from Sophia, his face ashen. What happened? My company's servers were just hacked. $2 billion worth of proprietary technology stolen. Client data compromised. Everything. Sophia's blood ran cold. Elena. She's sending a message. Cooperate or she destroys everything. Marcus's hands shook as he pulled out his keys. I need to get to the office. Handle this before it goes public. I'm coming with you. No. Stay here. You're safer. Safer? Marcus, your ghost wife just threatened both of us. There's no safe anymore. He hesitated, then nodded. Change into dry clothes. Fast. We leave in 5 minutes. They rushed inside, separated to their rooms. Sophia tore off the soaked suit and pulled on dark jeans, a black sweater, and boots. She twisted her wet hair into a braid and ran back downstairs. Marcus waited by the door in fresh clothes. Dark jeans, a charcoal Henley, a leather jacket. He looked dangerous. Focused. Ready? He asked. No. But let's go anyway. The drive to his company headquarters was silent. The city blurred past, gray and hostile. Marcus's hands were white-knuckled on the steering wheel. Can you fix it? Sophia asked quietly. The heck? I don't know. If Elena has the right people, if she planned this carefully enough. He shook his head. This could destroy everything I've built. Then we stop her. He glanced at her. You paid for my mother's surgery. That makes us partners in this disaster. Sophia's voice hardened. Besides, I'm not letting that woman win. Something like hope flickered in Marcus's eyes. They arrived at a sleek glass tower. Inside, chaos reigned. People rushed between cubicles, voices overlapping, phones ringing endlessly. Marcus strode through like a general into battle, Sophia keeping pace. His office occupied the top floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Minimalist furniture. Abstract art that probably cost more than most houses. A man in a rumpled suit looked up from a laptop. Marcus. It's worse than we thought. Show me. For the next hour, Sophia watched Marcus transform. The vulnerable man from the terrace vanished, replaced by something sharp and ruthless. He barked orders, made calls, his mind working at impossible speed. Finally, he looked up. We can contain it. But it'll take everything. Every favor, every asset, every connection. Can you still pay Elena? Sophia asked. Marcus's jaw clenched. Not anymore. This hack wiped out my liquid reserves. Even if I liquidate stocks, I'm short by 20 million. So she gets what she wants anyway. You're destroyed. Unless we find another way. What way? Before Marcus could answer, the office door burst open. Elena stood there, still in her crimson coat, but now she wasn't alone. A man in an expensive suit flanked her. His silver hair was slicked back, his smile predatory. Marcus, the man said smoothly. It's been too long. Marcus's face went white. Victor. Sophia looked between them. Who is that? Victor Reeves, Marcus said hoarsely. Elena's father. The man who taught her everything she knows about destroying people. Victor stepped forward, his eyes cataloging the chaos around them. I see my daughter's message was received. You orchestrated the hack. I orchestrated everything. Victor's smile widened. The faked death. The resurrection. The timing of her return. Did you really think Elena could plan this alone? What do you want? Your company. Not the money. The entire business. Victor pulled out a folder, laid it on Marcus's desk. Sign this transfer agreement, and Elena's claims disappear. Refuse, and we go public with the bigamy, the hack, everything. Your company tanks anyway, but you'll also face criminal charges. Sophia's world tilted. You can't do this. Can't I? Victor looked at her like she was an insect. Who are you again? His wife. His illegal wife. The girl who committed fraud for money. Victor's expression turned pitying. When this goes public, you'll be arrested too. Hope your mother's surgery goes well from a jail cell. The threat landed like a blade between her ribs. Marcus moved in front of Sophia, protective. Leave her out of this. Then sign the papers. The room went silent except for rain against glass. Marcus looked at the folder. At Victor. At Elena smiling in the doorway. Then his eyes found Sophia's. In that moment, she saw him make a choice. No, Marcus said quietly. Victor's eyebrows rose. Excuse me. I said no. Marcus's voice grew stronger. You can have the money. You can ruin my reputation. But you can't have my company. I built it from nothing. You don't get to take it. Then you've chosen prison. I've chosen integrity. Something you've never understood. Elena's smile faltered. Marcus, don't be stupid. I've been stupid for years. Marrying you was the worst mistake of my life. But this. He gestured to Sophia. This mistake I'll protect. Sophia's breath caught. Victor's expression turned to ice. You have 24 hours to reconsider. After that, I make one phone call and your world ends. He and Elena left, their footsteps echoing down the hallway. When they were gone, Sophia grabbed Marcus's arm. What did you just do? I chose you, he said simply. Your mother's safe. That's what matters. But you'll lose everything. Your company. Your freedom. Some prices are worth paying. He touched her face, his scarred hand gentle against her skin. I've spent 3 years running from ghosts. Maybe it's time to stand and fight. We'll both go to prison. Then we'll go together. Sophia searched his face, looking for lies. Found only truth. Why? She whispered. You barely know me. Because when you looked at me this morning, before everything fell apart, you saw a person. Not a bank account. Not a tool. A person. His forehead pressed against hers. No one's done that in years. The moment stretched, fragile and fierce. Then Sophia's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered, hands shaking. Hello? Sophia Bennett? A woman's voice. Professional. Cold. Yes. This is Detective Sarah Chin, Fraud Division. We need you to come to the station immediately. You're under investigation for conspiracy to commit bigamy and wire fraud. The phone slipped from Sophia's fingers. Marcus caught it, heard the detective's voice, and his face went gray. They're already moving, he said hoarsely. Victor called the police. Through the window, Sophia saw flashing lights in the parking lot below. 3 police cars, pulling up to the building entrance. We're out of time, she whispered. Marcus grabbed her hand. Then we run. What? We run. Now. Before they get up here. Running makes us look guilty. We are guilty, Sophia. The marriage is fraud. The only question is whether we face this on our terms or theirs. Sirens wailed closer. Sophia looked at their joined hands. At the man who'd become her husband and her co-conspirator in one disastrous stay. At the choice before them. Stay and surrender. Or run and fight. She met his emerald eyes. Where do we go? Marcus's smile was grim. Somewhere they'll never think to look. He pulled her toward a side exit, away from the elevators. Behind them, they heard the ding of arrival, voices calling Marcus's name. They ran. The safe house was nothing like Sophia expected. Deep in the industrial district, tucked between abandoned warehouses, stood a converted loft. Exposed brick walls. Steel beams crossing the ceiling. Minimal furniture covered in dust sheets. A single window overlooked the rain-soaked alley below. Marcus locked 3 deadbolts behind them, his movements precise despite his shaking hands. He wore the same leather jacket and dark jeans from the office, now splattered with rain. His black hair fell across his forehead, making him look younger. Vulnerable. Sophia stood dripping on worn floorboards, her black sweater clinging to her frame. Her braid had come loose, chestnut hair escaping in wet strands around her face. What is this place? Bought it years ago. Off the books. Cash transaction under a shell company. Marcus crossed to a locked cabinet, pulled out burner phones and a laptop. Elena doesn't know about it. Neither does Victor. How long have you been planning for something like this? He met her eyes. Since the day I realized Elena was dangerous. I just never thought I'd need it. Sophia sank onto a covered couch, her legs finally giving out. Adrenaline drained away, leaving exhaustion. We're fugitives now. Not yet. The police will need warrants. That buys us maybe 12 hours before they freeze my assets and issue formal charges. 12 hours to do what? Marcus sat across from her, the laptop balanced on his knees. His fingers flew across the keyboard. To find proof that Elena faked her death. To expose Victor's manipulation. To turn this around before we lose everything. That's impossible. Probably. He looked up, emerald eyes intense. But I'm not surrendering without a fight. Are you? Sophia thought of her mother in a hospital bed. Of the surgery scheduled for next week. Of the hope she'd felt this morning when Marcus slid that platinum ring onto her finger. No, she said quietly. I'm not. They worked in tense silence. Marcus hacked into databases while Sophia researched Victor Reeves on a burner phone. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. Each time, they both froze, listening for footsteps that never came. Hours passed. Rain drummed against the single window. Sophia's eyes burned from the phone screen's glow. "I found something," Marcus said suddenly. She moved to his side. On the laptop, a scanned document filled the screen. Medical records. Autopsy reports. All stamped with official seals. "These are Elena's death records," Marcus continued, scrolling. "Look at the signature." Sophia leaned closer. The handwriting was precise, identical on every document. Too identical. "It's forged," she breathed. "Not just forged. Look at the doctor's name." Marcus highlighted it. Dr. Andreas Volkov. He was struck off the medical register 8 months before Elena's alleged death for falsifying documents. So Victor paid him to fake everything. It goes deeper. Marcus pulled up another file. Bank transfers. Offshore accounts. Money flowing from Victor's companies to Volkov's accounts in the Cayman Islands. $5 million transferred the week before Elena's death. Sophia's mind raced. This proves conspiracy. If we show this to the police, it's illegally obtained evidence. I hacked into sealed medical databases. We'd both go to prison just for having it. So we can't use it. Not directly. Marcus sat back, his expression grim. But we can use it to find something admissible. A sound outside made them both freeze. Footsteps in the alley. Sophia's heart hammered against her ribs. Marcus moved to the window, careful to stay hidden. He peered down, then relaxed fractionally. Homeless man. Just passing through. Sophia released a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. "How long can we hide here?" "As long as it takes." And then, he turned from the window. In the dim light, his scarred jaw cast shadows across his face. "I don't know, Sophia. I'm making this up as I go." The admission settled between them. For the first time, she saw past the billionaire armor to the frightened man beneath. He was improvising. Desperate. Just like her. "Tell me about her," Sophia said softly. "About Elena. Who was she before she became this?" Marcus moved back to the couch, sinking down heavily. He stared at his hands. "She was an artist when we met. Sculptor. Brilliant work. Raw and emotional." His voice went distant. "I was 28, building my first company. She was 25, preparing for her first gallery show. We met at a fundraiser. She looked at me like I was the only person in the room. Love at first sight? Obsession at first sight. For both of us." He rubbed the scar on his jaw absently. "I thought the intensity meant passion. Took me 2 years to realize it meant instability." "What changed?" "She wanted control. Of my money. My company. My life. When I tried to set boundaries, she'd rage. Throw things. Hurt herself to make me feel guilty." He looked at Sophia, pain etched in every line of his face. "The night she gave me the scar, she'd found out I was putting the company in a trust. Protecting it from marital assets. She said I was choosing business over her. So she attacked you. With a wine bottle. Then a sculpture she'd made. By the time security arrived, the penthouse was destroyed and I was bleeding on the floor." His laugh was bitter. "I filed for divorce the next day. She fled to Barcelona. 2 weeks later, she was dead. Except she wasn't. Except she wasn't." Marcus leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "I thought I was free. Spent 3 years rebuilding. Learning to trust again. Then you walked into that foyer, terrified and brave, and I thought maybe I could have something real." Sophia's chest tightened. "This morning feels like a lifetime ago." "It was a lifetime ago. We were different people then." She studied his profile. The strong nose. The sharp cheekbones. The scar that marked him as a survivor. "Why did you really marry me, Marcus?" "The truth." He was quiet for a long moment. "Because you reminded me what it felt like to want to be better. Because when you talked about your mother, I saw the kind of love I'd given up believing in. Because I'm selfish and I wanted someone to look at me the way you did in that city hall. Like you were worth saving? Like I was worth anything at all." The confession hung between them, raw and honest. Sophia reached out slowly, giving him time to pull away. He didn't. Her fingers traced the scar on his jaw, feeling the raised tissue beneath her touch. "You are worth saving," she whispered. Marcus's hand covered hers, pressing her palm against his face. His eyes closed. "So are you." The moment stretched, fragile and fierce. Then Marcus's laptop beeped. His eyes snapped open. He grabbed it, reading the screen. His face went from hopeful to devastated in seconds. "What?" Sophia demanded. "An email. From my lawyer. Victor filed a restraining order against me. Claims I've been threatening Elena since her return. The judge granted it without a hearing. That's illegal. Victor has friends in high places. The restraining order freezes all my assets. I can't access my accounts. Can't pay lawyers. Can't fight back." He slammed the laptop shut. "We're completely cut off." Sophia's world tilted. "What about my mother's surgery?" Marcus looked at her, agony in his eyes. "The payment went through this morning. It's safe. But anything after that, any complications or follow-up care, I can't cover it now. So we've lost." "Not yet." He stood abruptly, pacing the small space like a caged animal. "Victor wants my company. That's his end goal. If we can prove the fraud, prove Elena's alive and faked her death, the restraining order becomes void. Everything unravels." "How?" "We can't use the evidence you found." "No, but we can use Elena herself." Sophia frowned. "What do you mean?" Marcus turned to face her, something dangerous glinting in his eyes. "Elena always had a tell. When she lied, when she schemed, she'd touch this necklace she wore. A diamond her mother left her. She never took it off. I saw it. She was wearing it today." "Exactly. That necklace is distinctive. Custom-made. One of a kind." Marcus pulled up a photo on his phone. Elena's mother's obituary from 10 years ago. "Look at the photo." Sophia studied the image. An elegant older woman, wearing the same diamond necklace Elena had worn today. "I don't understand." The necklace was supposedly buried with her mother. Elena insisted on it at the funeral. Cried when they closed the casket. Marcus's expression turned calculating. If Elena's wearing it now, that means she took it before the burial. Which means she planned this long before the supposed accident. That's still circumstantial. Unless we can prove the grave was tampered with. If we exhume the body and the necklace is missing, it proves premeditation. Conspiracy. The whole house of cards falls. Sophia stared at him. "You want to dig up Elena's mother?" "I want to dig up the truth." "That's insane." "So is everything else we've done today." Marcus moved closer, his intensity filling the space between them. "Sophia, this is the only play we have left. Victor thinks he's won. Elena thinks she's untouchable. They've gotten sloppy. Arrogant. That's when people make mistakes. And if we're wrong? If the necklace is in the grave, then we're finished anyway. We lose nothing by trying." Sophia's mind raced through the implications. Grave robbery. More criminal charges. But Marcus was right. They were already drowning. What was one more weight? How do we even get to the cemetery without being caught? Marcus smiled grimly. Very carefully. They spent the next 2 hours planning. Marcus used his hacking skills to disable the cemetery's security cameras. Sophia researched the layout, finding the exact location of the grave. They gathered tools from the loft storage closet. Shovels. Flashlights. Dark clothes. By midnight, they were ready. The rain had softened to mist. They took Marcus's backup car, an unremarkable sedan registered to a shell company. The drive to the cemetery on the city's outskirts was tense. Every passing police car made Sophia's heart stop. But they arrived unchallenged. The cemetery gates were chained, but Marcus had bolt cutters. They slipped through, shadows among shadows. Rows of headstones stretched in every direction, pale in the moonlight filtering through clouds. "This way," Marcus whispered, leading her between graves. They found it 20 minutes later. A marble headstone reading, Margaret Valen. Beloved mother. Sophia stared at the grave, reality crashing down. "We're really doing this." "Last chance to back out," Marcus said quietly. She looked at him. At the man who'd become her partner in crime and something deeper she couldn't name. At the choice before them. "Let's dig," she said. They worked in silence, shovels breaking through earth. The physical labor helped burn off nervous energy. down and down, through layers of soil and clay. Sophia's muscles screamed. Her hands blistered. But she kept going. 2 hours later, Marcus's shovel hit something solid. They both froze. The casket, he breathed. Carefully, they cleared away remaining dirt. A simple bronze casket emerged, sealed and intact. Marcus pulled out a crowbar, positioned it under the lid. "Ready?" he asked. Sophia nodded, unable to speak. Marcus pried open the casket with a metallic shriek that seemed to echo across the cemetery. The lid lifted, revealing darkness within. Marcus shone his flashlight inside, then went completely still. "What?" Sophia whispered. "What is it?" He stepped back, face ashen. Wordlessly, he handed her the flashlight. Sophia looked into the casket and felt her world shatter. Inside lay a body. But it wasn't Margaret Valen. It was a young woman. Brown hair. Unfamiliar features. Wearing an expensive dress and, around her neck, the diamond necklace. But more horrifying than the wrong body was what Sophia saw next. The woman's skull had been crushed. Clearly. Violently. This wasn't a natural death. This was murder. "Oh my God," Sophia breathed, stumbling backward. "Marcus, this is a murder victim." He grabbed her shoulders, steadying her. His face was pale, his hands shaking. "This changes everything. We need to call the police." "And tell them what?" "That we illegally exhumed a grave and found a body that shouldn't be there. We'll be arrested on the spot. We can't just leave her here." "We won't." Marcus pulled out his burner phone, took photos of the casket, the body, the necklace. "But we need leverage first. Evidence we can use." Sophia felt sick. "Who is she?" "I don't know. But someone Elena and Victor wanted buried and forgotten." Marcus carefully removed the necklace, handling it like evidence. Someone they killed to make their plan work. A sound cut through the night. Car engines. Approaching fast. Marcus's head snapped up. "We need to leave. Now." "But the grave." "Leave it. Run." They grabbed their tools and fled between headstones. Behind them, headlights washed over the cemetery entrance. Voices shouted orders. Sophia ran, her lungs burning, Marcus beside her. They reached the back wall, scaled it desperately. On the other side, his car waited in shadows. They drove away as flashlights swept the cemetery behind them. In the car, Sophia couldn't stop shaking. How did they know we were there? Marcus's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. They must have been watching us, waiting for us to make a move. So they know what we found. Yes. He glanced at the necklace on the console between them. Which means they'll do anything to stop us from revealing it. Sophia's phone buzzed. Unknown number again. She answered with trembling hands. "Hello." Elena's voice poured through, smooth and venomous. "Hello, Sophia. Enjoying your evening. How did you get this number?" "I have my ways. Just like I have ways of knowing you and Marcus were at my mother's grave tonight." A pause. "Or should I say, my accomplice's grave?" Marcus snatched the phone. "Who did you kill, Elena?" "A nobody. A runaway who looked enough like dear mother to pass casual inspection. She was supposed to stay buried." Elena's voice turned ice cold. "But you couldn't leave well enough alone. The police will want to know about this. The police will never believe you. Not when I have video of you two desecrating a grave. Not when I have proof you stole family heirlooms." She laughed. "You're finished, Marcus. Both of you. We have the necklace. We have photos. You have illegally obtained evidence that implicates you in grave robbery and theft. Use it and you go to prison for 20 years. A pause. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to return my necklace. You're going to sign over your company to Victor. And you're going to disappear, quietly, before I make you disappear permanently. And if we refuse? Then I make sure the police find that poor girl's body with your fingerprints all over the casket. Along with evidence you've been planning this for weeks. Murder charges, Marcus. For both of you." The line went dead. Sophia stared at the phone, then at Marcus. "She set us up. She knew we'd go there. She wanted us to find the body. She's creating evidence against us while destroying any we could use against her." Marcus's voice was hollow. "We walked right into it. So what do we do?" For the first time, Sophia saw defeat in his eyes. I don't know. They drove in silence back to the safe house. Inside, exhausted and filthy from grave dirt, they collapsed onto the couch. Sophia looked at the necklace on the table, at the evidence that proved Elena's conspiracy and their own doom. There has to be a way out, she whispered. Marcus took her hand. His fingers were rough, scarred from shoveling. If there is, I can't see it. So we just give up? I'm not giving up. I'm accepting reality. Victor and Elena have been planning this for years. We've been reacting for one day. We're outmatched. Sophia pulled her hand free, anger burning through exhaustion. My mother didn't raise a quitter. And I don't believe you are either. What do you suggest? We go to the press. We tell them everything. Release the photos, the necklace, all of it. Force the police to investigate. That ruins us too. Maybe, but it ruins them more. Sophia stood, pacing. Right now, they control the narrative. What if we change that? What if we become whistleblowers instead of criminals? Marcus studied her, something shifting in his expression. It could work. If we frame it right. If we get ahead of their story. Then let's do it. He stood, moving to his laptop. I know a journalist. Someone Victor couldn't buy. If we give her the exclusive, if we lay out everything before Elena can spin it. His phone rang. The burner. The one only Sophia had the number for. They looked at each other, confused. Marcus answered on speaker. Marcus Valen? A man's voice. Unfamiliar. Rough. Who is this? Someone who can help you. Someone who knows what Victor and Elena did. Someone with proof they'll never see coming. Marcus's eyes narrowed. Why would you help us? Because they killed my sister. The girl in that grave. And I want them to pay. The world stopped. Sophia gripped Marcus's arm. What's your name? Daniel. Daniel Cross. And I've been waiting 3 years for someone to finally dig up the truth. Marcus and Sophia exchanged a look. Hope flickering in the darkness. Meet us, Marcus said. Tell us everything. Tomorrow. Noon. The old pier by the industrial district. Come alone or I disappear. The line went dead. Sophia's mind raced. It could be a trap. It probably is. Marcus looked at the necklace, then at her. But it's also our only chance. They spent the rest of the night preparing. Researching Daniel Cross. Finding nothing. The name didn't exist in any database. Either fake or scrubbed clean. As dawn broke, gray light filtering through the loft's single window, Sophia finally asked the question burning inside her. If this works, if we somehow survive this, what happens to us? Marcus looked up from his laptop. His emerald eyes were bloodshot, his face shadowed with exhaustion. What do you want to happen? I don't know. This morning, we were strangers forced together by circumstance. Tonight, we're partners in crime. Tomorrow, we might be dead or in prison. She moved closer. What are we, Marcus? He stood, closing the distance between them. His hand cupped her face, thumb tracing her cheekbone like he'd done a lifetime ago in the rain. We're two broken people who found each other at the worst possible time. Who chose to stand together when the smart move was running alone? His forehead pressed against hers. We're something I don't have a name for yet. Something worth fighting for? Something worth dying for. The words hung between them, a promise and a threat. Sophia rose on her toes and kissed him. Not the careful brush from City Hall. A real kiss. Desperate and fierce and honest. Marcus's arms wrapped around her, pulling her close. For a moment, the world outside disappeared. No Elena. No Victor. No murder or fraud or impossible odds. Just two people clinging to each other in the storm. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Marcus rested his forehead against hers. Tomorrow, we meet Daniel. We get the truth. We end this. Together. Sophia whispered. Together. They spent the remaining hours planning, preparing, knowing they might not survive the next day. As noon approached, they dressed in dark clothes, armed themselves with phones and the necklace as evidence. The drive to the pier was silent. Heavy. The old industrial pier jutted into gray water, abandoned warehouses looming on either side. No one in sight. They parked and stepped out. Wind cut across the water, carrying the smell of salt and rust. "I don't like this," Sophia said. "Neither do I. But we're out of options." They walked onto the pier, wood creaking beneath their feet. At the end, a figure waited. A man in his early 30s. Dirty blonde hair. Sharp features. Wearing a worn jacket and jeans. He watched them approach with haunted eyes. "Daniel Cross?" Marcus called. The man nodded. "You came. You said you could help us." "I can. I will." Daniel pulled an envelope from his jacket. "Everything's in here. Bank records showing Victor paying my sister. Photos of Elena and my sister together. Proof they recruited her for the switch, then killed her when she threatened to talk." Marcus took the envelope, hands shaking. "Why now? Why wait 3 years?" "Because I've been gathering evidence. Building a case the police couldn't ignore. I was almost ready." Daniel's expression hardened. "Then you two showed up, digging up graves and making noise. You accelerated my timeline." "We're sorry about your sister," Sophia said softly. "Sorry doesn't bring her back. But justice might help." He looked at them both. "You two are the key. You're the ones who can make people listen. Victor and Elena have been untouchable for years. But a billionaire committing bigamy, a murdered girl in the wrong grave? That's a scandal even they can't bury. What do you need from us?" Marcus asked. "Go public. Hold a press conference. Release everything. I'll provide evidence they can't refute. Together, we end them." It was the plan Sophia had suggested. Vindication should have felt good. Instead, cold dread settled in her stomach. "Something's wrong," she whispered. Daniel frowned. "What?" "This is too easy. Too convenient." Sophia looked at Marcus. "How did he get your burner number? How did he know we'd be at the cemetery last night?" Marcus's eyes widened. "You're right." Daniel's expression shifted. The haunted victim vanished, replaced by something cold. "Smart girl," he said. He pulled a gun from his jacket. Sophia's world stopped. "There is no sister," Daniel said flatly. "There is no evidence. There's just me, making sure you two never cause problems again." Marcus stepped in front of Sophia. "Victor sent you. Victor pays well. And you two have been a thorn in his side long enough." Daniel raised the gun. "Any last words?" Before Marcus could respond, a shot rang out. Daniel fell, the gun clattering across wooden planks. Marcus and Sophia spun to see a figure emerging from behind a warehouse. Elena stood there, holding a smoking gun. Her crimson coat was gone. She wore all black, her dark hair pulled back, her expression cold and focused. "Get down," she shouted. More gunfire erupted. Bullets splintered the wood around them. Sophia screamed as Marcus dragged her behind a piling. Men emerged from the warehouses. 4 of them. All armed. All advancing. Elena returned fire, moving like she'd been trained for this. Professional. Lethal. "Who are they?" Sophia gasped. "Victor's men," Elena called back, still firing. "He sent them to clean up loose ends. Including me." "Why are you helping us?" Marcus shouted. "Because I'm a loose end too." Elena dropped an empty magazine, reloaded with practiced ease. "Victor wanted my help destroying you, then planned to kill me and blame you for my murder. Tie up all the strings." Another volley of shots. Elena took cover beside them, breathing hard. "You faked your death," Marcus said. "You tried to destroy us." "I know. And I'm sorry." Elena looked at him, and for the first time, Sophia saw genuine emotion in her eyes. Regret. Fear. "But right now, we're all dead unless we work together." A grenade rolled across the pier toward them. Elena grabbed it and hurled it back. The explosion shook the warehouse, taking out 2 of Victor's men. "We need to move." Elena grabbed Sophia's arm. "My car's on the other side." "Run." They ran, bullets chasing them across the pier. Marcus pulled Sophia behind cover as Elena provided suppressing fire. They reached her car, a sleek black sedan. Elena drove like a demon, tires screaming as they escaped the pier. Behind them, the remaining attackers gave chase. In the back seat, Sophia tried to process what was happening. "Why should we trust you?" Elena's eyes met hers in the rearview mirror. "Because I have the real evidence. The proof you need to destroy Victor." And because if we don't stop him together, none of us survive the day. She tossed a USB drive into the back seat. Marcus caught it, plugged it into his phone. His face went pale as he read. "What is it?" Sophia asked. "Everything. Bank records. Communications. Video of Victor orchestrating my company's hack." Marcus looked up at Elena. "Why are you giving us this?" "Because Victor betrayed me. Tried to have me killed after I did his dirty work." Elena's knuckles were white on the steering wheel. "I want him destroyed more than you do." Behind them, the chase cars gained ground. Elena took a sharp turn, losing one pursuer. "There's a safe house across town. We need to get there, upload this evidence, and pray the authorities move fast enough to save us." "How do we know this isn't another trap?" Sophia demanded. "You don't." Elena met her eyes again. "But you're out of choices." "And so am I." Marcus looked at Sophia. A whole conversation passed between them in that glance. "Trust or die." "Drive," Marcus said. Elena smiled grimly and pressed the accelerator. They raced through the city, death chasing close behind, carrying evidence that could save or damn them all. The safe house was a condemned apartment building in the financial district, hiding in plain sight among scaffolding and construction barriers. Elena killed the engine 3 blocks away, and they approached on foot through back alleys. Marcus wore his leather jacket over the charcoal Henley, both torn and bloodied from the pier. His dark hair was wild, his emerald eyes constantly scanning for threats. Sophia's black sweater had a bullet hole through the sleeve. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Elena moved like a ghost in her all-black tactical gear, the gun still holstered at her hip. Her dark hair had come loose from its tie, framing her angular face. "Top floor," Elena whispered, leading them through a service entrance. "The building's set for demolition next week. No one checks it." They climbed 13 flights of stairs in tense silence. Every shadow could hide an enemy. Every sound could be footsteps. The safe house was a gutted office space, empty except for camping equipment, a generator, and communications gear. Elena locked the door behind them, engaged 3 separate deadbolts. Sophia sank against a wall, finally letting exhaustion claim her. "What now?" Marcus plugged the USB drive into a laptop connected to the generator. "Now we verify what Elena gave us is real." "It's real," Elena said, checking her gun's magazine. "Every bit of it. Forgive me if I need proof before trusting the woman who tried to destroy my life." Elena's expression flickered. Pain, quickly masked. "Fair enough." Sophia watched Marcus work, his fingers flying across the keyboard. Minutes passed in heavy silence. Then his shoulders tensed. "It's all here," he said quietly. "Everything we need. Bank transfers from Victor to the hackers who hit my company. Emails between Victor and corrupt officials about the restraining order. Video of Victor admitting he faked your death, Elena, to manipulate the will contest. Told you." Elena moved to the window, watching the street below. "There's more." Marcus scrolled further, his face going pale. "Sophia, your mother's hospital. Victor's been paying the administration to delay her surgery, to use her as leverage against you." Sophia's world tilted. "What?" "The surgery was never scheduled for next week. They've been lying to you. Victor wanted to keep your mother sick, vulnerable, so you'd stay desperate." Marcus looked at her, anguish in his eyes. "I'm so sorry." Rage burned through Sophia's exhaustion. She stood on shaking legs. "Where is he?" "Where's Victor right now?" "His estate," Elena said from the window. 30 miles north. Fortified like a military compound." "Then that's where we go." Marcus grabbed her arm. "That's suicide. He has security, weapons, everything. He has my mother's life in his hands." Sophia pulled free, her voice deadly calm. "I'm done running. I'm done being a victim. We end this tonight." "She's right," Elena said softly. Both Marcus and Sophia turned to stare at her. Elena's expression was haunted. "Victor's had control for too long. Over me. Over both of you. Over everyone he touches. Someone needs to stop him." "With what?" "We have evidence, but no way to deliver it before he has us killed. We upload it everywhere." Sophia's mind raced, clarity cutting through fear. "Every news outlet. Every social media platform. every police department. We flood the world with it simultaneously. Even Victor can't suppress that much truth at once. Marcus considered this. It could work. If we time it right. Upload everything from different locations, different IP addresses, all at once. I can set that up, Elena said. I know people who owe me favors. Hackers who hate Victor as much as we do. Why? Sophia studied Elena, trying to understand. Why help us now? What's in it for you? Elena turned from the window. For the first time, Sophia saw past the Ice Queen exterior to the broken woman beneath. Because Victor promised me freedom when we faked my death. Promised I could start over, live the life I wanted, as long as I helped him take down Marcus first. Her voice cracked. But it was all lies. He never planned to let me go. I was just another tool. Another victim. You still tried to destroy us, Marcus said coldly. I know. And I'll carry that guilt forever. Elena met his gaze. But I also saved your lives at the pier. I'm giving you the evidence to fight back. What more do you want? I want to know if any of it was real. Marcus stood, crossing to face her. The marriage. The love. Any of it. It was real at first. Elena's eyes glistened. Before my father got in my head. Before the manipulation started. I did love you, Marcus. I just loved survival more. The confession hung in the air. Sophia watched them, seeing the complicated history, the tangled emotions. Part of her wanted to hate Elena. The other part recognized a kindred spirit. Another woman trapped by Victor's schemes. We don't have time for this, Sophia said firmly. We need to upload the evidence, then get to my mother before Victor uses her against us. Marcus nodded, pushing emotion aside. Elena, make your calls. Get the hackers ready. We upload in 1 hour, then move on the hospital. And Victor's estate? Elena asked. That comes after we secure Sophia's mother. One battle at a time. They worked with desperate efficiency. Elena made encrypted calls while Marcus set up the upload protocols. Sophia researched the hospital's layout, planning their extraction. 40 minutes later, everything was ready. Marcus's finger hovered over the enter key. Once I hit this, there's no going back. The whole world learns the truth. About Victor. About Elena's faked death. About the illegal marriage. Everything. Including that we committed bigamy, Sophia added quietly. We could still face charges. Not if the public sees us as victims instead of criminals, Elena said. We frame the narrative right. We become whistleblowers exposing corruption. It's a gamble, Marcus said. Everything's been a gamble since this started. Sophia moved to his side, her hand covering his on the keyboard. Let's end it. Together, they pressed enter. Files uploaded across the internet like a flood. News sites. Police departments. Social media. Everywhere at once. Marcus's phone exploded with notifications. Then Elena's. Then Sophia's. The story was breaking. Live. Billionaire victim of elaborate fraud scheme. Tech mogul's wife faked death in conspiracy. Businessman Victor Reeves implicated in murder, blackmail. Within minutes, it went viral. The evidence was too damning to ignore. Video of Victor admitting to crimes. Bank records showing massive fraud. Testimonies from victims. It's working, Elena breathed. Look. On Marcus's laptop, they watched police cars converge on Victor's estate in real time, tracked through traffic cameras. But then Sophia's phone rang. The hospital. She answered with shaking hands. Hello, Miss Bennett. A nurse's voice panicked. Your mother. She's been moved. We don't know where. Men came with paperwork, said they had authority. Sophia's blood turned to ice. When? 20 minutes ago. She looked at Marcus and Elena. Victor has her. Marcus's face went hard. Then we get her back. How? The police are at his estate. He probably took her somewhere else. Elena grabbed her phone, made a call. Listened. Her expression darkened. My contact says Victor left the estate 30 minutes ago. Before the police arrived. He's at his backup location. Where? The warehouse district. Same area as the pier. Elena's eyes met Sophia's. He's going to use your mother as bait. Draw us into a trap. Then we spring the trap on our terms. Marcus began gathering equipment. The laptop. The evidence. Weapons Elena had stashed in the safe house. We go in smart. We get Sophia's mother out. Then we end Victor permanently. He'll be expecting us, Sophia said. Probably. But he'll be expecting desperate victims. Not people with nothing left to lose. Marcus handed her a phone loaded with the evidence. If something happens to me, you make sure this gets to the authorities. Promise me. Nothing's happening to you. Promise me, Sophia. She took the phone, blinking back tears. I promise. They left the safe house as sirens wailed across the city. The news was spreading like wildfire. Victor's empire crumbling in real time. But none of that mattered if Sophia's mother died. The warehouse district was dark, abandoned. Elena drove them past the pier where they'd nearly died hours before. The buildings here were older, more decrepit. There. Elena pointed to a structure at the end of a dead-end street. Light gleamed through broken windows. Cars outside. Guards at the entrance. He's not even hiding, Marcus said. He doesn't need to. We're coming no matter what. Elena killed the engine 3 blocks away. How do you want to play this? Sophia studied the building. 2 guards visible. Probably more inside. Her mother's somewhere in there, helpless. We split up, she said. Elena, you're the distraction. Draw the guards' attention. Marcus and I go in the back, find my mother, get her out. That leaves Elena exposed, Marcus said. I can handle myself. Elena checked her gun. Besides, I owe you too. This is how I pay that debt. They moved through shadows, approaching the warehouse from different angles. Sophia's heart hammered so hard she thought it might burst. She wore her torn black sweater, her jeans caked with grave dirt and blood. Her chestnut hair was tangled, her hands raw. She'd never felt more alive. Marcus moved beside her, his leather jacket silent, his movements precise. At the back entrance, he picked the lock with practiced ease. Where did you learn that? Sophia whispered. Misspent youth. His smile was grim. Before I became respectable. The door opened. Inside, darkness and the smell of rust. They crept forward, weapons ready. Gunfire erupted from the front of the building. Elena's distraction had begun. Go, Marcus urged. They ran deeper into the warehouse, past stacked crates and abandoned machinery. Voices shouted toward the front entrance, guards responding to Elena's attack. Then Sophia saw her. In a cleared space lit by harsh fluorescent lights, a chair. Her mother strapped to it, unconscious. Gray hair limp, hospital gown stained. And 4 line running from her arm to a bag of clear liquid. Mom. Sophia rushed forward. Wait. Marcus grabbed her arm. It's too easy. He was right. No guards. No resistance. Just her mother, vulnerable and alone. A trap. Lights blazed to life. Blinding. Disorienting. When Sophia's vision cleared, she saw Victor Reeves standing beside her mother. His silver hair was immaculate despite the chaos. He wore an expensive suit, his smile predatory. Welcome, he said smoothly. I've been expecting you. Guards emerged from the shadows. 10 of them. All armed. Surrounding Marcus and Sophia. Let her go, Sophia demanded, her voice shaking. Or what? You'll release evidence. Victor laughed. Too late. I've already seen the news. My reputation is ruined. My assets frozen. My empire crumbling. He pulled out a syringe filled with amber liquid. So I have nothing left to lose. And that makes me very dangerous. He pressed the syringe against Sophia's mother's foreline. This is potassium chloride. One push and her heart stops instantly. Painless. Quick. Tragic. Don't. Sophia stepped forward. Guards raised weapons. Please. She's innocent in all this. So was my daughter. The real Elena. The one who died in a car accident when she was 12. Victor's expression twisted with ancient pain. The woman you know as Elena is my niece. My brother's daughter. I raised her to replace my child. Molded her into the weapon I needed. Marcus's eyes widened. That's why the DNA matched. She's actually your family. Close enough to fool tests. Close enough to play the part. Victor looked at Elena, who stood in the warehouse entrance, gun trained on him. You did well, my dear. Better than I expected. Pity you developed a conscience. Let them go, Elena said, her voice cold. This is between us. Is it? I don't think so. Victor's thumb moved to the syringe plunger. I think this is about control. About power. About the fact that I've spent 20 years building an empire, and you three ungrateful children destroyed it in one day. You destroyed yourself, Marcus said. We just revealed the truth. Truth is whatever I say it is. Victor's composure cracked. I made you, Marcus. Took you from nothing and showed you how to succeed. And you betrayed me. I never worked for you. Your wife did. Elena infiltrated your life on my orders. Married you to access your company. Everything was proceeding perfectly until she fell for you. Victor's laugh was bitter. Love. Such a weakness. Elena flinched but didn't lower her weapon. Then you filed for divorce, Victor continued. Threatened my control. So I staged Elena's death, planned to take your company anyway, eventually frame you for her murder once the will contest was settled. He smiled. But then you met this one. He nodded at Sophia. And complicated everything. You used my mother's illness to manipulate me, Sophia said. I use whatever tools are available. Your desperation made you perfect. So easy to control. So predictable. Victor's thumb pressed lightly on the plunger. But you surprised me. Both of you. You fought back. You refused to break. So what now? Marcus asked. You kill all of us and run? I kill her mother while you watch. Break you completely. Then I kill you too. Elena, I'll save for last. Victor's eyes glittered. And then I disappear with what offshore funds remain. Rebuild somewhere new. I've done it before. The police know where you are, Elena said. They're coming. Then we'd better hurry. Victor's thumb started to push. Wait. Sophia screamed. I'll give you anything. Please. Name your price. Victor paused. Anything? My life for hers. Let her live, and I'll do whatever you want. Sophia, no, Marcus said hoarsely. It's the only way. She looked at him, memorizing his face. The emerald eyes. The scarred jaw. The man she'd known for one impossible day but would carry forever. I'm sorry. For everything. But I can't let him kill her. How touching. Victor smiled. But I'm afraid I need more than just you. I need Marcus's silence too. His cooperation. You'll have it, Marcus said immediately. Whatever you want. Just let them go. Both of you. Willing to die for each other. For her. Victor laughed. Love really does make fools of everyone. He pulled the syringe away from the four. Relief flooded Sophia. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Victor pulled out a gun, aimed it at Sophia's mother. Because I lied. The shot rang out. But it didn't come from Victor's gun. Elena's bullet hit Victor in the shoulder. He stumbled back, dropping his weapon. Chaos erupted. Guards opened fire. Marcus dragged Sophia behind cover as bullets shredded the air. Elena dove behind a crate, returning fire with precision. Get your mother. Marcus shouted over the gunfire. I'll cover you. Sophia ran in a crouch, bullets sparking off concrete around her. She reached her mother's chair, started cutting the restraints with a knife Marcus had given her. Mom, wake up. Tears blurred her vision. Please wake up. Her mother's eyes fluttered open. Weak. Confused. Sophia? I'm here. I'm getting you out. The restraints fell away. Sophia lifted her mother, shocked by how light she'd become. Together, they stumbled toward the back exit. Behind them, Marcus and Elena fought like demons. Bodies fell. The warehouse filled with gunsmoke and screams. Then Victor rose from behind a crate, bleeding but still standing. He raised his gun toward Marcus. No. Elena threw herself in front of Marcus. The bullet hit her chest. She fell. Time stopped. Marcus caught Elena, lowering her to the ground. Blood bloomed across her black tactical gear. Why? He choked out. Why did you do that? Because. Elena coughed blood. Because you deserved better than me. Both times. Her eyes found Sophia across the warehouse. Take care of him. He's worth it. Elena, stay with me. Marcus pressed his hands against the wound, trying to stop the bleeding. You're going to be okay. Liar. She smiled weakly. always were a terrible liar. Her hand lifted, touching his scarred jaw. I'm sorry. For everything. I hope you can forgive me someday. I forgive you now. Just don't die. Too late for that. Her eyes glazed. Tell my father. Tell him I'm finally free. Her hand fell. Elena was gone. Marcus knelt there, holding her body, something inside him breaking. Victor stood over them, gun aimed at Marcus's head. Touching. But futile. His finger tightened on the trigger. A shot rang out. Victor fell, a hole in his forehead. Behind him, Sophia stood with Elena's dropped gun, her hands steady despite the horror in her eyes. She'd killed him. Saved Marcus. Ended it. The remaining guards dropped their weapons, hands raised. Sirens wailed outside. Police stormed the building. It was over. Marcus stayed with Elena's body as police secured the scene. Paramedics rushed to Sophia's mother, getting her on a gurney. Sophia followed, numb and shaking. Hours blurred together. Statements to police. Medical examinations. Cameras flashing outside as press swarmed the story. Dawn broke over the city as Sophia finally found Marcus in a hospital waiting room. He sat alone, still wearing his blood-stained leather jacket, staring at nothing. She sat beside him. Neither spoke for a long time. I killed him, Sophia finally whispered. You saved me. That doesn't make it easier. No, it doesn't. Marcus took her hand. But you did what you had to. What I couldn't. Elena died saving you. She died redeeming herself. That's what she wanted. His voice cracked. I just wish she'd chosen redemption sooner. They sat in silence, watching the sunrise through hospital windows. Two people who'd been strangers yesterday, now bound by blood and choices and something deeper than either could name. What happens now? Sophia asked. The police cleared us. Self-defense. Whistleblower protections. We're free to go. Marcus looked at her. Your mother's stable. The hospital's giving her the Real surgery. No more delays. She's going to live. And us? Our marriage. Void, technically. Since I was already married to Elena. He managed a weak smile. But we could fix that. If you wanted. Sophia studied his face. The exhaustion. The grief. The strength beneath the cracks. Ask me when this is over. Really over. When we've had time to grieve and heal and figure out who we are outside this nightmare. Fair enough. He squeezed her hand. But for what it's worth, I know who you are. You're the woman who saved my life. Who fought beside me. Who gave me something worth living for. You barely know me. I know enough. A nurse appeared. Miss Bennett? Your mother's asking for you. Sophia stood, then paused. She leaned down and kissed Marcus gently. A promise, not a goodbye. I'll come back, she whispered. I'll be here. She left him there, walked toward her mother's room. Behind her, Marcus sat alone with his ghosts, watching the sun rise on a new world. A world without Victor. Without Elena. But maybe, just maybe, a world where he and Sophia could find something real. If they survived long enough to try. 6 months later. Autumn painted the coastal cliffs in amber and gold. Waves crashed against black rocks below, sending spray into air that tasted of salt and possibility. Sophia stood on the rebuilt terrace of Marcus's estate, wearing a simple navy dress that hung loose on her still thin frame. Her chestnut hair fell in gentle waves past her shoulders, lighter now from hours spent in the sun. She gripped a cup of coffee, watching the ocean's endless rhythm. Behind her, the estate had transformed. The cold marble was softened with rugs and art. The empty rooms filled with life. Her mother's laughter drifted from the kitchen where she was baking something that smelled like cinnamon and home. The surgery had worked. 6 months cancer-free. Growing stronger every day. Small miracles. Marcus emerged from the house wearing worn jeans and a cream sweater, his dark hair longer than before, curling at his collar. The scar on his jaw had faded but would never disappear. A permanent reminder of Elena. Of everything they'd survived. He carried 2 plates of her mother's famous coffee cake. She made you try it? Sophia asked, smiling. 3 times. Quality control, she said. Marcus handed her a plate, their fingers brushing. The contact still sent electricity through her skin. Some things hadn't changed. I think she's fattening me up. You could use it. You're still too thin. Look who's talking. They ate in comfortable silence, watching gulls wheel against endless sky. The headlines had finally stopped. The trial was over. Victor's empire dismantled, his crimes exposed. The accomplices imprisoned. Justice, imperfect but real. Elena was buried in a private ceremony, her real name restored. Not the weapon Victor had created, but the girl she'd been before. Marcus attended alone. Sophia gave him that grief, that closure. I got the final paperwork yesterday, Marcus said quietly. The annulment is official. Our marriage never legally existed. Sophia's chest tightened. Oh, which means if we wanted, we could start over. Do it right this time. He set down his plate, turning to face her. No contracts. No desperation. No lies. Just two people choosing each other. Marcus. I'm not asking now. I know we both need more time. I just wanted you to know the option exists. His emerald eyes held hers. When you're ready. If you're ready. Sophia touched his scarred jaw, the gesture familiar now. You've given me everything. Saved my mother. Protected me. Fought beside me. What more could I possibly ask for? Your heart. Not out of gratitude. Not out of debt. But because you want to give it. You already have it. The confession escaped before she could stop it. You've had it since that morning at City Hall when you kissed me like I mattered. Marcus's breath caught. Sophia. But I need time. To figure out who I am outside of crisis. Outside of survival. To know the woman you'd be marrying isn't just trauma and desperation held together by stubbornness. I'll wait. He pulled her close, his forehead resting against hers. As long as it takes. They stood there, wrapped in salt air and possibility, until Sophia's mother called them inside for lunch. The meal was loud, warm, full of laughter. Her mother told embarrassing childhood stories while Marcus pretended to be scandalized. It felt like family. Like home. After, Sophia helped wash dishes while Marcus built a fire in the living room. The domesticity of it all still felt surreal. Like she'd wandered into someone else's life. He's good for you, her mother said softly, handing Sophia a plate to dry. It's complicated. Love usually is. Her mother's eyes were knowing. But I see how he looks at you. Like you're the sun, and he's been living in darkness for years. We've only known each other 6 months. You've survived more in 6 months than most couples face in a lifetime. That counts for something. Sophia dried the plate, considering. I'm scared. What if it doesn't work? What if we only function together during the crisis, and now that it's over, we fall apart? Then you fall apart. And you heal. And you try again with someone else. Her mother touched Sophia's cheek. But you'll never know unless you risk it. Evening fell soft and gray. Sophia's mother retired early, still rebuilding her strength. Marcus and Sophia sat by the fire, comfortable silence between them. I've been thinking, Marcus said finally, about what to do with the company now. After the scandal, his board had begged him to return. Stock prices recovered. Clients came back. But something had changed in Marcus. The ruthless ambition had burned away, leaving something gentler. And? I'm selling it. Keeping a minority stake, but letting someone else run it. He stared into the flames. Victor was right about one thing. I built my empire at the cost of everything else. My health. My relationships. My humanity. I don't want to be that person anymore. What will you do instead? I don't know yet. Something that matters. Something that helps people instead of just making money. He looked at her. Maybe I'll ask a very smart woman for advice on running a charitable foundation. If she's interested in that kind of work. Sophia's pulse quickened. A foundation for what? Medical debt relief. Helping families like yours who are drowning in bills through no fault of their own. His smile was tentative. I figure I owe the universe some karma points. Might as well earn them. That's... Sophia's throat tightened. That's beautiful. It's selfish, really. Trying to become someone worthy of you. You already are. I'm getting there. He stood, offering his hand. Walk with me. They walked the cliff path as stars emerged overhead. The ocean murmured below, eternal and indifferent to human dramas. Do you ever regret it? Marcus asked. Meeting me? Everything that happened? Sophia considered the question. The fear. The violence. The impossible choices. Elena's death. Victor's end by her hand. The nightmares that still woke her some nights. No, she said honestly. It was hell. But it was also the most alive I've ever felt. And it led me here. To you. To my mother healthy again. To a future I never imagined possible. Even knowing what it cost? Even then. They reached a cliff overlook. The city glittered in the distance, indifferent to their story. Millions of lives playing out, each one a universe of joy and suffering. I've started seeing someone, Sophia said quietly. A therapist. Dealing with the PTSD. The guilt over killing Victor, even though it was justified. That's good. Healthy. She says I need to forgive myself. That I did what I had to do. That survival isn't a sin. Sophia turned to face him. Do you believe that? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. I believe we're both broken people trying to heal. I believe we made choices in impossible circumstances. I believe Elena's death wasn't our fault, and Victor's death was necessary. He touched her face. And I believe that whatever else we are, we're survivors. Is that enough? It's a start. Sophia leaned into his touch, feeling the warmth of his palm against her skin. I'm not ready to marry you. Not yet. I know. But I'm not ready to let you go either. Good. Because I'm not going anywhere. She kissed him then, under stars and sky, with the ocean singing its ancient song below. Not the desperate kiss of the safe house. Not the careful brush of City Hall. Something real and present and honest. When they finally pulled apart, both breathless, Marcus rested his forehead against hers. Stay with me, he whispered. Not as my wife. Not as payment for your mother's care. Just as Sophia. The woman who saved my life and showed me how to live again. For how long? As long as you want. A week. A month. Forever. Your choice. Sophia thought about choices. About the freedom to decide. About two broken people finding each other in chaos and choosing to heal together. I'll stay, she said. For now. We'll see where it goes. That's all I'm asking. They walked back to the estate hand in hand. Inside, the fire had burned to embers. Sophia's mother had left a note, gone to bed early. Don't stay up too late, you two. Love, Mom. Sophia laughed, reading it. She's not subtle. I like her. Marcus stirred the fire back to life, adding fresh logs. She reminds me of you. Strong. Brave. Unstoppable. She taught me everything I know about fighting. They settled onto the couch, Sophia tucked against Marcus's side. His arm around her shoulders felt like safety. Like home. Tell me about your childhood, Marcus said. The good parts. Before everything got hard. So Sophia told him. About summer days at the beach. Her mother teaching her to paint. Her father, before he left, pushing her on swings. Simple joys before the world got complicated. Marcus shared his own stories. A childhood marked by poverty and violence, but also small moments of beauty. A teacher who believed in him. A scholarship that changed everything. The first company he built and lost, then built again. They talked until the fire burned low and the clock struck midnight. Learning each other in the quiet hours. Building something new from the ashes of what they'd survived. I should go to bed, Sophia said finally, though she didn't move. You could stay here. On the couch. I'll take the chair. Marcus's smile was gentle. I'm not ready to sleep alone yet. The nightmares are worse when I'm isolated. I have nightmares too. Then we'll have them together. Sophia considered. Boundaries. Healing. The slow building of trust. Okay, but separate spaces. We take this slow. As slow as you need. Marcus grabbed blankets and pillows. They made makeshift beds, the couch and the armchair facing each other across the dying fire. Good night, Sophia, Marcus said softly. Good night, Marcus. She closed her eyes, expecting sleep to evade her as it often did. But surrounded by warmth and the sound of Marcus's breathing, she drifted off peacefully for the first time in months. And when nightmares did come, when she woke gasping from dreams of gunfire and blood, Marcus was there. Not touching, not crowding, just present. A solid reminder that she'd survived. That she was safe. "I'm here," he'd whisper. "You're okay. We're both okay." And slowly, the nightmare would fade. Weeks turned to months. Sophia took a job at a nonprofit helping medical debt relief cases, working alongside Marcus as he built his foundation. Her mother grew stronger, eventually moving to a cottage on the estate grounds. Close enough to visit daily, far enough to give them space. Sophia and Marcus fell into rhythms. Morning coffee on the terrace. Long walks along the cliffs. Dinners by the fire. Slowly learning each other outside of crisis. They argued sometimes. About foundation policy. About Marcus's tendency to overwork. About Sophia's reluctance to fully move into the master bedroom, still sleeping in the guest room most nights. But they also laughed. Danced in the kitchen to music from Marcus's college years. Built blanket forts with her young niece when family visited. Lived. 1 year after they met, Marcus took Sophia back to City Hall. "What are we doing here?" she asked, confused. He led her to the same room where they'd married before. The same gray-haired clerk in a cardigan. "I'm not proposing," Marcus said quickly. "Not yet. But I wanted to mark this. 1 year since we met. Since everything changed." He pulled out a simple platinum band. Not a wedding ring. A promise ring. "This is a promise that I'm choosing you every day. Not out of obligation. Not out of debt. But because you're the best decision I ever made." He slid it onto her right hand. "When you're ready, if you're ready, I'll ask you properly." Big gesture, romantic setting, the whole thing. "But for now, I just wanted you to know. I'm here. For as long as you'll have me." Sophia looked at the ring. At the man offering it. At the future spreading before them, uncertain but full of possibility. "I'm choosing you too," she whispered. "Every day." They left City Hall hand in hand, walking into a world that no longer felt like a battlefield. Just life. Complicated, messy, beautiful life. 2 years after they met, Marcus proposed properly. On the cliff overlook where they'd stood under stars. With Sophia's mother watching from the terrace, tears streaming down her face. With a ring that caught the sunset, turning it to fire. "Sophia Bennett," Marcus said, kneeling on the same rocks where they'd walked 100 times. "Will you marry me? For real this time. Because I love you. Because I choose you. Because I can't imagine a future without you in it." Sophia looked at him. At the man who'd saved her mother. Who'd fought beside her. Who'd given her space to heal and time to choose. Who'd become her best friend, her partner, her home. "Yes," she said, pulling him to his feet. "Yes, I'll marry you." They married in autumn, exactly 3 years after that first disastrous wedding. Small ceremony on the cliff. Just family and close friends. No press. No scandal. No ghosts. Sophia wore a simple ivory dress that her mother had sewn. Marcus wore a charcoal suit that made his emerald eye shine. They wrote their own vows, promises built on truth and tested in fire. "I promise to choose you every day," Sophia said, her voice steady. "To stand beside you in crisis and in peace. To build a life with you that honors what we survived and celebrates what we became. I promise to love you not in spite of our scars, but because of them," Marcus replied. "To give you freedom and trust. To be worthy of the second chance you gave me. To build a future together that would make our younger selves proud." The officiant pronounced them married. Husband and wife. For real this time. They kissed as the sun set over the ocean, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. When they pulled apart, both were crying. Happy tears for once. At the reception, Sophia's mother toasted them with champagne and laughter. Friends shared stories of their work at the foundation, lives changed, families saved. The evening was full of joy, uncomplicated by the darkness that had brought them together. Later, much later, Marcus and Sophia stood alone on the terrace under stars. "Do you believe in fate?" Sophia asked, leaning against the railing. Marcus wrapped his arms around her from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. "I believe we made choices. You chose to accept my offer. I chose to honor my commitment. We chose each other, again and again, even when it was hard. So not fate. Choice. better than fate. Choice means we earn it every day. Sophia turned in his arms, looking up at the man who'd become her everything. I love you, Marcus Valen. I love you, Sophia Valen. He smiled at her new name. How does it feel? Right. Finally right. They stood there under stars, two people who'd found each other in hell and chosen to build heaven. Their story wasn't perfect, wasn't simple, but it was theirs. And that was enough. The ocean sang below, eternal and indifferent. But up on the cliff, two survivors danced to music only they could hear, building a life from the ashes of what they'd lost. Some stories end in tragedy, some in triumph. Theirs ended in something rarer. Truth, healing, and a love forged in fire that would never burn out. The end.